This is the Post Shift Podcast, a raw look at the hospitality industry. Good morning, Post Shifters, and welcome to another episode of Post Shift Shots. I'm obviously your host, Shawn Soole, and if you're watching, you can obviously see I'm back in my home office in Victoria, BC, after a 7-week stint in Singapore. What a whirlwind. I opened a venue in Singapore called Misfits, a full restaurant and bar in the financial district in the CBD. And the intensity of that opening is something I've never seen before, and I put myself under a lot of pressure a lot of times to do these openings quickly, whether it be Cafe Mexico or Olo or something like that. But this opening was something very, very different, and I'm heading back in about 3 weeks to do another 2 venues in 5 weeks, which is just mental. Most of the work I'll be able to do here. I'm just going to open a nice can of Sparkmouth tonic from Phillips. But what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and tape and interview as many people as I can. In 3 weeks' time, or 2 weeks' time, actually, I'm heading to Toronto for the Toronto Cocktail Conference. I'm going to be the official podcaster for the Toronto Cocktail Conference, which I'm looking forward to immensely. The people who I've got lined up are like heroes of mine, people I've looked up to and idolized over many, many years. So it's going to be a lot of fun to actually sit down and ask the questions that I really want to know from them. But in the meantime, I wanted to chat today. This is a push of shot, so I'm going to keep it nice and short and sweet. So someone, while I was in Singapore, asked me, is like, well, why do you podcast, and how many people listen? Like, what's your ROI? What's your matrix? And I said, well, I told him what I sort of get viewership-wise and that sort of thing. And he's like, oh, why do you keep doing it? And this sort of led me to think about why I started podcasting and why I keep podcasting even when I may not get the viewership that I would like to see on some episodes, or someone I interview doesn't post certain things, like the post the episode on their personal in social media, so that would push it and plug it a little bit more. I do it, I suppose it's cathartic. I think after all the years of doing what I do in the industry, and being in the industry with so many people, I feel like it is very cathartic, especially when I talk about my faults and my failures and that sort of thing. But it sort of opens up a lot of conversation with a lot of people, and I've had a lot of people message me. And so I look at it as like, what do I want my legacy to be? And I may or may not ever open a venue of mine, and a venue is always like my thing to be my legacy. And everybody has different reasons for having a legacy, whether being a great father or a good boss or something like. But I think everybody's, to a certain degree, has this level of what is going to be my lasting legacy. And I got to thinking about what I want my legacy to be, and I think I don't really mind if I'm not known by a million people across the world, but when I put out an episode and I get a message from someone saying, thank you very much, that helped me out a lot, or this has really bolstered my confidence in pushing for a cocktail culture in a small market, or something like that, that's the reason I think has been pushing me a little bit more and more, because at the end of the day, I'm not doing this for a self-interest point of view, apart from the cathartic element. Because if it was for ego when I only get 25, 30 views or listens to one of my podcasts, if it was for ego, I would just stop. And I think what keeps pushing me is that, as my wife said once, she's like, it only takes one brick to be taken out of a dam for the flood to start. And I think that's what it is that if I keep putting this out, there'll be one that resonates with enough people that sort of sets a chain reaction, and then they'll start discovering the Andrew Yap episode from last couple of weeks ago. I did take a week off podcasting just so I could reacclimatize being back home. Or they'll discover the Ian Burrell rum episode, or the Nicola Risky, which is one of my favorite episodes, and I got a lot of compliments on that one, saying that it was by far one of their favorite episodes as well. And I think that's what keeps pushing me, is that it's not for anybody else, it's just for me. And I enjoy doing it, and it's my little personalized vent session every week. And if a few people listen to it and get something out of it, great, amazing, actually. And if people don't listen to it and think that I'm doing it for an egotistical bullshit reason, then you don't know me very well, and you probably should ask the questions, which you can. On the Anchor app, you can actually leave voice messages, and I can answer them. So if you've got any questions after this, please either hit me up on Twitter, Shawn Soole, or Facebook, or Instagram, or Anchor FM, any of those, and ask a question about what it is. But I think legacy is where I want to sort of tie this off to, and why I podcast, and why I do anything, really. Like, I always push myself to be the best because I want to leave a lasting and long legacy, whether it be young bartenders or venues or a culture in a city, something like that. And I think everybody has their own legacy, and that legacy that you want to leave is your decision, and how you perceive your legacy is a big thing. But I think legacy is a big deal for me. I don't know why. I think it's maybe because I didn't really have a good teenage years, and I left home when I was 17 after a tumultuous relationship with my father, and I want to leave something behind that is meaningful. And I think, figure out what you want your legacy to be. If you want to, I'm going to hit this up. When I post this tomorrow, what's your legacy? What do you want your legacy to be long term? But on that note, I've been babbling for a little bit too long. I hope you enjoy everything. This week, I'm looking forward to interviewing Josh Lindley from Bartender Atlas and the Toronto Cocktail Conference. Hopefully, we get some insights to why he does it, because he has a lot of passion projects like Bartender Atlas that I have in common as well, so I'm looking forward to that. But enjoy your week, guys. I'm so happy to be back. If I haven't seen you at your bars or your restaurants yet, I promise I will make a habit of that before I leave. Look after yourself, have a good week at work, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye. Thanks, Post Shifters. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're listening, whatever platform you're on, give me a good rating, subscribe, listen along. I'm going to keep going. I really enjoy sitting down with people and learning where they're from, what they did, and how they got to where they were. So if you love it, give me a good 5 stars. If you don't, give me 1 and I'll try harder.